All right, what is going on, everyone? We should be recording, so hope you guys are having a great week so far. So it has been a pretty crazy week for me so far. Really strange week, really going back to last Thursday with getting sick, some really bad digestion issues happening throughout the day, in the evening. I'll spare you the details. Got better Friday and Saturday. I was better for the most part Sunday, and then Sunday night experienced them again. Don't know if it was that cyclospora going around, but feeling better today as I'm recording this. So fingers crossed that this is the trend that is going to continue, going forward. So coming on here because I want to talk about one of the most productive goals or the most valuable goals you can have within your weight loss and fat loss journey. And it's one that most people honestly often overlook, where they don't pay too much attention to learning how to do this, mastering how to do this part of their fitness journey. And it's one reason why they end up a lot of times, or why you probably end up losing weight, gaining it back, and consistently going through these periods where you're yo-yoing back and forth, losing the same 15 to 20 to maybe up to 30 pounds over and over and over again, while also gaining it back over and over and over again. And one of the biggest things, and it's not going to sound sexy, it's not going to sound super exciting. You might roll your eyes when I say this because, but I want to lose the weight. But that is the ability to master what maintenance looks like. Maintaining your current body weight, wherever that is, whether that is right now in this date and time, whether that is 5 pounds less, 10 pounds less, 15 pounds less, 20 pounds less, whatever like weight loss milestone you might be at now. If you can practice maintaining your weight during weeks where you have a lot of stuff going on, or vacations, trips, out of town weekends, or on those days where you're just really tired and you don't feel like cooking, if you know what to order when you go to fast food, or you know what to put together at home, that maybe doesn't lead to more fat loss, but it at least leads to fat loss maintenance or maintaining your current body composition, your current body fat level, that will go such a long way. And that is probably one of the most valuable skills you can have, even more valuable of how to actually lose the weight, right? Because it doesn't matter if you lose the weight if you end up just gaining it back. And here's a really good example of this too. Actually, let me go add another point to this too. If you can master maintenance, it also allows you to really trust in being as patient as you possibly need to be to reach your fat loss goal, where reaching your weight loss or fat loss goal ends up just being inevitable with enough time. Like you can step into, each new phase, whether it's a fat loss phase, a diet break, or a maintenance phase, whatever it may be, you can step into each phase feeling confident that, I know maybe I'm taking the foot off the gas of fat loss now, but that's okay because I know exactly how to maintain where I'm at now. So then when I go into another fat loss phase after that, progress just picks right back up. And a good example of this has kind of been my journey over the past, let's say 3.5-ish years, pretty much after we had my son. So I've lost around 40-ish pounds over the past 3.5 years since we had my son. I think at the tail end of my heaviest compared to now, it's about 43-ish pounds. And a lot of people might look at that and be like, man, that was an awesome transformation. You look at my progress pictures, there's a big difference. I was looking at some of these pictures that my mother-in-law took this past weekend for my birthday, and I'm like, man, my face looks really thin in these pictures. And I compare them to pictures from back, either right before my son was born or right after, the January after he was born. And it's just a crazy difference, especially in my face, of how different I look. But you might look at that and think, wow, that's a big transformation. But the thing is, there was so much actual period of time between now and 3.5 years ago where I actually wasn't actively losing weight, where I was just maintaining my current weight and my current body composition at the time, right? I've lost 43 pounds over the past 3.5 years, which if you average that out of how much weight I'm actually losing per year, doing quick math off the top of my head, it comes out to 43 pounds over 3.5 years. I don't know maybe 10 pounds a year, roughly, a little bit more than 10 pounds a year, I guess, maybe 11 or 12. But that's not really that much, right? That's about 1 pound on average lost per month that I've lost over this time span, which is kind of a slower pace when you really spread it out through that long duration. And I wasn't actively trying to lose weight this whole entire time. I had distinct periods where, this is a 2-month period where I'm focusing on fat loss and I am focusing on losing anywhere from 5 to 10 pounds of body fat over this 2-month period. Then I follow that up with at least 2, if not 3-4 months of maintaining that current body composition and that current weight of just, I've lost this body fat. I've gotten to a new body fat threshold. let me practice maintaining that for a long duration of time to really like cement, okay, this is my new set point. And there's a psychological thing when it comes to this, but there's also a physiological thing too, where the longer you're able to spend at maintenance after losing a certain amount of weight, the more likely you're able to keep it off. And part of that is your body kind of settling into this new body fat level in a controlled way, right? In these maintenance phases, I obviously wasn't binging and like having cheat weekends and cheat days like, okay, I'm off my diet. No, like my diet looked really similar to what it looked like in the fat loss phases, but just a little bit more food, closer to maintenance. So I actually maintained my weight instead of losing it. And then I would do that for a few months, a maintenance phase, focus on, building a little bit more muscle because, building muscles and strength is something that's really important to me. I think it's fun to see my body change in that way, followed by maybe another like 2-month fat loss phase, 2 or 3 month fat loss phase after that. And I kind of continuously cycled through these things with really long periods of maintenance in between where I maintained my weight for the most part. Now, there were some of those maintenance phases where I did maybe gain like 3 to 5 pounds back of maybe like, let's say I lost 10 pounds in a fat loss phase. I might gain, 3 pounds on the scale in those next 2 or 3 months of quote unquote maintaining. But I was kind of pushing my calories to try to build a little bit more muscle. So some of that weight was hopefully, a couple of pounds of muscle gain too. But essentially short periods of fat loss, long periods of maintenance, recycled over and over and over. And the thing is like, that long process I was okay with. And I think one reason why I was really okay with that long process of maintenance and weight loss was because I knew without a shadow of doubt that I could maintain my weight once I got to a certain body fat percentage. Like I think a lot of people, and you might be in this camp where like you maybe can lose weight if you really put the foot on the gas, clean up your diet, eat a certain way, exercise regularly, but you lack the confidence in yourself that I'm going to actually be able to maintain this weight after I get there. And because of that, I think it causes people to rush the fat loss and weight loss process too much because they're like, well, I got to get down to being down 20 pounds because if I lose 10 pounds and then try to just maintain for a month or two, I don't trust myself to maintain. So then I'm going to gain the weight back and I'm never going to hit that 20-pound mark. So I think people rush the process of weight loss and fat loss because they don't trust themselves to maintain during those periods in between those fat loss phases. But because I've mastered the skill of knowing how many calories my body needs to maintain its weight, knowing how that feels even on days when I'm not tracking, when I'm living a little bit more flexibly for birthday parties, holidays, get together with friends, whatever that may be, I have full trust that if my overall fat loss goal or weight loss goal is to lose 40 pounds down the road, let's say, if I stop at 10 pounds down and take a 2 or 3 month diet break or maintenance phase, I know, okay, I'm going to maintain it perfectly. And then when I go back into that fat loss phase, like I'm going to be able to pick back up where I left off with my new current low body weight and lose another 10 pounds and chip away a little bit more. Maintain that for 2 or 3 months, chip away a little bit more. And that's the same process we use with our clients too. We cycle through these fat loss phases followed by these maintenance phases to build the confidence in maintaining their weight long term. And typically, sometimes when a client's been in a fat loss phase for a long period of time, we'll do 2 or 3 month maintenance phases, but usually they're a little bit shorter. Usually they're 2 or 3 weeks, depending on how long a client has been in a fat loss phase total with coaching, depending on how their body's responding, how much weight they have to lose, et cetera, et cetera. So there's a lot of variables there that are individualized to the person, but we still cycle through these maintenance phases every 2 to 3 months, even if they're just 2 weeks long. So you can build the confidence in maintaining that weight. And also there are a ton of psychological and physiological benefits of taking a break from fat loss and weight loss, of not going on the deep end. And like I said, having cheat weeks where we're binging and gaining weight back, but having weeks where, okay, we're going to eat a little bit more food, do a little bit less steps, practice maintaining our current weight, where maintenance is the overall goal, and learning what it feels like to eat at maintenance is the overall goal, and then going into another fat loss phase after. And that practice maintaining your weight in that maintenance phase of that diet break allows you to then, when you have a really busy week, a really crazy day, and hitting your fat loss range of calories just isn't in the cards for you. Maybe you're out of town and traveling, eating out a couple of meals. You have the tools and skills and resources and kind of intuition of, okay, if I eat this amount, I know this is how I feel when I'm at maintenance, so I know to stop here. And it will transform your progress long term, because now, even if you have to take a really long break from fat loss because of something going on in your life, whether it's an injury, surgery, something else going on in your life, you're traveling for 3 weeks out of the country, you've practiced maintenance, you've mastered it, So then when you pick back up in your fat loss phase, you're not having to lose those 3 to 5 pounds or 5 to 10 pounds that you gain back again. Every pound you lose after that is a new pound you're losing versus those same repetitive pounds. And that's where you get into a point where 4 years down the road, instead of cycling through the same 10 pounds of fat loss and weight loss you've had over and over and over again, now 4 years down the road, you're down 40 pounds. Your body composition looks totally different. You've completely transformed your life. You've mastered how to maintain it along the way. And now there's no questions. And that's exactly how I feel with my journey over the past 3.5 years right now. And that's what I see in so many of our clients that we work with long-term too. So I can't express this enough. Losing body fat is a big part of the equation, right? And doing it the right way initially so your body's less likely to binge and gain it back. But you also do have to have practice maintaining it along the way too, or you're never going to actually learn to break that cycle. So if there's anything you take away from this, it's that fat loss, losing the weight initially, yes, you could argue that's the most important goal. But I would say that's maybe 1A, and 1B is learning how to actually maintain it too, and learning what a maintenance day looks and feels like when it comes to your calorie intake, your food intake, how it feels, how full you feel, how your meals look when you eat around maintenance. That is just as important, because if you don't master that, then you're just going to be on this hamster wheel of losing the same weight over and over again. So hopefully this was helpful and eye-opening and just a good reminder there. Obviously, if you're having trouble with this, reach out, send me a message, fill out our coaching application. This is what we help clients with all the time. Mastering the fat loss part, but also mastering the maintenance part too. So hopefully this was insightful, and I will see you guys in the next one.